Last week, Governor Jerry Brown filed a ballot initiative with the Attorney General that would increase the state sales tax and increase income taxes for the wealthy. The governor said he was bypassing the legislature and going directly to the voters because he did not want to get bogged down in partisan gridlock. Joining me now to talk about where he stands on this initiative is Assemblymember Brian Jones. He's a Republican representing the 77th District, encompassing much of East County, including Santee and La Mesa. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Joanne. Thanks for having me today. I appreciate it.
So let's start off. Where do you stand on this tax initiative?
Well, I'm kind of anxious for the governor to bring it to a vote of the people. I think they're going to vote no. The voters statewide, resoundingly over the last several elections, have said no to new taxes statewide. And I think they're going to say no one more time.
Are you going to say no? Would you
I'm absolutely going to say no, and I'm going to encourage everybody to say no. But I want the governor to bring it to a vote so he can be convinced finally that Californians are tired of being taxed. We're already taxed as one of the highest rates in the country, and he needs to hear loud and clear from the voters that they don't want any more taxes.
Although this money would be earmarked for education, and it doesn't matter what study you look at, California spends less per pupil on education than the national average. How does that make you feel, knowing that the state spends less on education?
Well, I haven't seen that statistic, so I can't answer to it specifically.
It's government statistics, state statistics, national statistics. Ever since Prop 13 passed back in 1978, we've seen a steady decline in terms of what's spent on education.
Okay, well, and I'll review those statistics and confirm that for per pupil, I can't believe that we're one of the lowest in the country. But even if that's true, I know that in California, charter schools even spend less per pupil than traditional public schools do, and I think statewide they're performing at a higher rate than the regular public schools. So even though a charter school is a public school.
So do you think we need more money for education?
Absolutely not. I think that it's a matter of making priorities. I think when a politician tells you their #1 priority is, in this example, public education, and we need to raise taxes to fund public education, what that politician is really telling you is public education is their last priority. They're going to fund everything else first and then come back to the voters to say, all right, now that we've spent money on everything else, education, oh, we forgot about education, now we need to raise your taxes to pay for education. Well, why not fund education first and then all the other stuff, unsustainable pensions, welfare? We've got one of the most generous welfare systems in the country. Why not make some changes there and fund education first?
So the governor has also said he wants to go to the people because he doesn't want to bring this to legislators because of the partisan politics, gridlock. And in fact, there was a field poll, results came out last week. Only 22% of Californians really think that their assemblymen are doing a good job.
I'd like to meet those 22 people that think we're doing a good job.
How does that make you feel?
Well, I think in response to the quote from Brown that he wants to avoid the partisan gridlock, the other quote that he said is that Republicans failed to provide the 4 votes necessary to put it on the ballot through the legislature. What's a more accurate statement is Governor Brown failed to negotiate in good faith with the Republicans to get some of the Republican ideas on the ballot at the same time. Governor Brown is very disciplined and very good with his message in trying to place the blame on the Republicans in this issue. The problem is we just want the voters to be able to vote on some other issues as well. He's not willing to let the voters vote on some of the other issues that we think are important.
Isn't this sort of the classic example of what he's talking about and why so many voters are unhappy? It just becomes down to he said and she said.
Oh, I don't think it's a he said, she said. You can go back and look through the news articles, the editorials. When the Republicans came through the leadership of the Senate, the Republicans came to Jerry Brown with a package of reforms that we wanted statewide, and that we can rehash that or look it up. But he didn't want to address any of those reforms to state government that we thought was important. All he wants is for the voters to vote on the taxes. So now he's going to get his way, and he's going to get to hear what the voters have to say about it.
Before we go, I want to put you on the record with Occupy San Diego, this whole Occupy movement. Yes or no? Do you support this movement?
I knew you were going to ask me because you asked Assemblyman Rueso the same question. The best answer I can come up with is I support parts of it. But there's a lot of it I don't support. I support the First Amendment and the right to peacefully assemble. I do not support destruction of private property, public property, and I don't support some of the foul things that they're doing. But
okay, Assemblyman Jones, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.